Major news coming out of the automotive industry today at the LA Auto Show. It was announced that Hyundai is going to begin selling their cars on Amazon.com in 2024. Now, this story has really taken the entire industry by storm because, of course, everybody is on their toes trying to consider whether or not this means that car buying is going to turn direct to consumer from the automaker, or are dealerships still going to be involved? So I'm going to break down exactly what all of this means, what Amazon has in the works. I'm actually going to show you what it looks like on Amazon's website, because what most people don't know is that Amazon has been trying to sell cars and has had sort of these virtual vehicle showrooms on their site since 2018. So I've been looking at these cars for years, and it looks like they are almost trying to revamp that program, and their first partner in this venture is going to be Hyundai. So we're going to break down the details, we're going to look at their showroom, and we're going to dive right in. So these headlines are a little bit misleading if you've seen them, because it's saying that Hyundai is going to be selling cars on Amazon, and dealerships were very nervous because they thought that that meant that these automakers were going to go direct. However, automakers cannot do that because there are franchise laws that have been around for decades and decades and decades. Whether you agree with them or not, I don't, but that means that automakers, manufacturers do have to sell new vehicles through dealerships. So there has to be that middleman, and that is actually going to get pushed forward through Amazon as well. Now, the actual vehicles that get listed on Amazon will be listed by the dealerships themselves and will be priced out by the dealerships as well. So the automaker is not going to be the one that is going to dictate the cars that get listed and the price points, which is giving the industry, dealerships, a little bit of relief knowing that they live to survive another day. Now, of course, consumers really think that, these automakers should take the route of kind of like what Tesla has done, where you can simply go online, finance online, and just go direct with the automaker without having to go through the hassle of going through a dealership, dealing with salespeople, and having to haggle for prices. So that's why this sort of, next step forward with Amazon taking on vehicle purchase transactions is very, very interesting. Now, we may not be there completely just yet because, again, those franchise laws do exist and they have not been changed because they are definitely protected by the automotive industry. But could this be sort of the first step forward to having a website or a place that you can go to where consumers can purchase vehicles directly through a platform like Amazon? Now, if you look at what Amazon has been doing since the history of it starting up as a company, it's almost becoming the one central place for every possible transaction, whether it's business to business and you're using their cloud services like AWS, or it's business to consumer. Things like pharmacy they're taking on. They're really cutting the cost of drugs, providing that delivery straight to your doorstep, allowing your doctors to send prescriptions directly to Amazon's pharmacy. They are really taking over a lot of different types of things and really becoming the central hub of transactions, which is what makes all of this so interesting. So let's start off with some of the key points that are going into this. So this is from an Axios article that summed it up perfectly. Axios states that Amazon's sheer e-commerce heft means the company must instantly be taken seriously in the automotive retail space. Amazon announced its plans on Thursday during the 2023 LA Auto Show, saying that Hyundai would be the first brand to sell cars on its platform. Customers will be able to search based on model, trim, color, and other features, while also choosing payment and financing options. As a part of their deal, Hyundai will begin incorporating Amazon's Alexa voice assistant into its vehicles beginning 2025. Oh my gosh, so much interesting stuff to unpack here, rather. So one of the things that's really interesting about this is that It seems like Amazon is starting off by almost taking that Carvana-like model where a consumer can go online, purchase online, and then get the financing and everything online. And in this case, it seems like they may need to finish the transaction either at a dealership or the dealership will deliver the car. Now, I think one of the reasons why Amazon is starting off with Hyundai is because Hyundai has its own financing company, right? Hyundai Capital, which is a captive lender, making the whole financing process much easier, which in my opinion means that in the future, let's say 10, 15 years down the line, there is definitely a possibility that exists where automakers who have their own lending arms can go direct to consumer, of course, given that they are able to change franchise laws. Now, in this case, Hyundai has said that they do want their customers to be able to go to the dealership, test drive a vehicle if they need to, get their service done, and still have that service element of dealers. But that always begs the question to me. It almost seems like dealerships should be certified service centers and almost just specialize in servicing cars and allow the consumers to really purchase these cars directly from automakers like Hyundai to really get that cost down to begin with, give the consumer a better deal, and then utilize dealerships as their service hubs. But that's just my opinion based on what I've seen about this industry, and it's very interesting. Now, the play here that I think is fascinating that's being made by Amazon is the integration of Amazon Alexa into all of these cars, and it sounds like they're going to push for that with all the other car makers that they end up working with, because remember, Hyundai is only the first brand that they work with, and when we take a look at their virtual showrooms, you'll see that they've already integrated with other brands many years ago. So this rollout is definitely one that is going to involve a lot of brands eventually. Now, why I find Amazon Alexa really interesting and the fact that they're integrating it is because we now live in an age where AI is moving and evolving extremely quickly. Now, for those of my friends that are interested in what's happening with artificial intelligence, you might know that these language models are really trained based off of exclusive data sources. So if you have a data source and you have data coming in, you can train these artificial intelligence models to take that data and then, be better at responding to the person that it's interacting with. And Amazon's Alexa is just that. And I think that this is actually a genius way for Amazon to incorporate one of their AI models into the cars and the lives of people on a daily basis, gather information, and continue to build out their AI models and compete in the world of artificial intelligence, which seems to be really overtaken by the top players like Microsoft and Google, and now Amazon coming to the scene. And then, of course, the top contender being Tesla. So this allows them to compete in that way. So there's just a lot of elements that are really taking place here, and it is really fascinating to see. Now, one of the details, or many of the details that have not been disclosed by this entire agreement is, what does the revenue share look like between Amazon and dealerships, and how is all the pricing models going to work? Now, the only thing that they've sort of talked about is that dealers will have to follow the MAP, I believe it's called, which is the minimum advertised price, and they cannot a price below that. So dealerships will have to abide by that, which is a very common sort of industry rule to follow. But other than that, there hasn't been too many other details about how these transactions will fully be handled between Amazon and the dealership. So what we know so far is that dealers are going to be able to list their vehicles on the Amazon platform. They are going to be able to price them out. They will be able to provide financing through Hyundai Capital and hopefully allow the consumer to complete that financing online and then complete the transaction with the dealership. So that's what we know so far. We'll keep on keeping tabs on what's going on. And now I want to show you guys exactly what Amazon's showroom looks like. What a lot of people don't know is that, again, this has been around since 2018. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so here we are on Amazon.com looking at their sort of cars vehicle showroom setup, and this has been around since 2018, what a lot of people don't know. And if you go right here, you can see they already have other brands, but again, this is what they are working on revamping. But I'm guessing that it is going to be sort of very similar to what we already see here, given that they're launching in 2024 and we are already kind of, a little ways through 2023. So when you look at Hyundai right here, you can already see, you can sort of shop some of the cars that already exist. So let's just jump into one of these listings so that we can take a look at how it all works. It looks like we can see a starting price. You can choose options. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and create our vehicle. You can pick a color. You see exactly a breakdown of what it all looks like. We've got our interior color. And now over here, it looks like we're having options of where this vehicle is available and where we are likely to be able to purchase it. So, which is very interesting. So I wonder if you could just go ahead and pick this. Now, let's see here. You can either contact dealer or view it on a dealer's website. So this is primarily, I think, where we are going to see the big change, where you're going to be able to have that Carvana-like model and be able to check out of the transaction, complete the financing online, and then be done with that transaction, and then just coordinate with the dealership on anything that might be left, like add-ons and stuff like that. We don't really know. They haven't provided too much information about that. But mainly I wanted to show you guys what it actually looks like. You can estimate your payments, as we see, very similar to Tesla's website, Carvana's website. So it looks like they pretty much have a lot of the interface here. But what I reckon will happen is they will have a finalized transaction option here to where you can finance it, and then you are completely done with that transaction. So it'll be really interesting to see how they deal with things like trade-ins, how they deal with, all the additional stuff like warranties and maintenance plans and things like of that nature. So there aren't any concrete details yet. So literally, if you just go to Google and you type in Amazon vehicle showroom, this will pop up, and this is going to give you a little bit of an insight of what the future might look like. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button.